Hello again, and this is Storytime for our totems for today. So our main paths was the North Shield, Wisdom and Gratitude, as well as Hawk in the Messenger. That's the overall paths. And totem that we had for today, which is Wednesday, September 5th, that I'm recording this. When you watch it, that's when it applies to you, and you can make your own messages from that, right? Remember, messages are timeless. I just did my hair yesterday. So it said on my daily totem, it's called the Wildfire. I like pink. I don't lighten my hair, it just takes to the grays, right? So I say, like, once my hair is all gray, then it's gonna go all pink. And not to hide my grays, it's just that it takes to the color better. Okay, I'm just gonna give this a little wipe, so excuse me, because it looks a little dusty. Maybe we can see clearly now the smudge is gone. Ooh. Okay, so let's jump right into this story of the Wisdom and Gratitude from the main Sacred Path books. North Shield, sacred place of the elders, in gratitude I sing your praise. Sacred buffalo, white as driven snow, hold my heart until the end of my days. As I was entering the silence, so here's the teaching, right? We go the teaching and then the application. As I was entering the silence one winter's eve, many years ago, I was taken into the dream time and whisked away into an ancient forest filled with newborn snow. The bare trunks of the birch and aspen were stark against the emerald green of the peace trees, the pines. Giant flakes of crystalline snow were falling around me as I came to the edge of the forest. Below me was a vast meadow, deeply drifted in blue-white powder, where not one blade of grass could peek above the blanket of snow. Far across the meadow, in front of another stand of trees, was a sacred spirit buffalo, asking me to come nearer. I walked down the hill into the meadow with the fringe of my buckskin dress leaving soft impressions in Mother Earth's new cloak of white. The only sound was the gentle crunch of my moccasins against the tiny ice creatures that made the threads of the snow robe. As I approached, I noticed that steam was rising like pipe smoke from Buffalo's nostrils, and her giant brown eyes held me as we joined minds. This sacred buffalo of the dream time had me sit cross-legged in the snow at her feet and feel the warmth of her breath, so that I would not be cold. In a flash of lightning, her hooves turned white, and I raised my eyes to see all the color drain upward out of her body. Her eyes turned the color of the summer sky, a cornflower blue. Her horns became silvery white, and she spoke my name. Midnight song, follow my horns skyward to the council of elders for the teachings of the North Shield, she commanded. There you will be given 3 trails that lead to wisdom, and you will know the lessons of the sacred white buffalo. I turned my eyes skyward, and the scene suddenly changed. I was sitting in the south of a great council fire. This circle of elders numbered over 200. In the center of the wheel was a blazing fire that lit the faces of the ancient ones, so that I could see the expressions in their sparkling jet black eyes. One of the grandfathers in the north of the wheel told me to walk to the fire and stand in the center of it. I obeyed and was not burned. Then that grandfather spoke to me. All 3 roads to the North Shield are walked many times, and each path is tempered by the fire of experience, he said. Come to my seat in the circle and receive the 3 symbols of the paths to the north. I stepped out of the fire and walked to the seat of the wise old man. There were 3 elders waiting for me. The first grandmother handed me a great conch shell. She smiled and spoke. This shell is the power of listening to Mother Earth, her creature beings, and her children. Through listening, you may come to know wisdom. The second elder, a grandfather, placed a tomahawk in my arms and said, This tomahawk represents the peacemaker who knows when to bury the hatchet and forgive, and when to defend with truth. It is through proper use of truth, forgiveness, and humility that you may also know wisdom. The third elder was Great White Buffalo Calf Woman, and she presented me with a pipe. Her voice was grave, but her eyes were twinkling as she spoke these words. The pipe is the symbol of a balanced shield, male and female, red road, blue road, and of being grateful for the beauty of Great Mystery's perfect plan. The third path is gratitude and prayers of thankfulness. Through this path, you may also know wisdom. I thanked the elders and returned to stand in the fire as the blue-orange flames spun me into a vortex of silver smoke that propelled me into the sky far above the elders' council fire. I was suddenly aware of being in a totally different setting. I was sitting in the south of an enormous table made of a slab of pewter-colored stone. The council that sat at this table numbered over 400. The shock of seeing their faces nearly sent me crashing back into my body on the physical plane. They were the races that came from the stars. Some appeared to be Earth-like, but most of the others were races that I had never imagined possible before. I understood for the first time how the Kachinas must have looked to the Hopi who greeted them. The Sky brothers and sisters were an odd assortment of races who enveloped me with warm feelings of goodwill and caring. Despite the love being emitted, I was still aghast at their appearances. Some appeared to be over 7 feet tall with golden hair and very blue eyes, and were very much like earthlings. Others were 3 to 4 feet high with enormous eyes that were all jet black, with light bulb-shaped heads and web-like feet. Some of the others had copper-colored skin with tall human bodies and oriental eyes that were sky blue. Still others reminded me of hammerhead shark faces with flat-topped head and eyes at the outer edges of the flat top. Altogether, there must have been over 75 species of extraterrestrials. It took me a while to adjust to being looked at, and I was trying not to ogle back. A being with blue-gray skin, bald head, and pointed ears was sitting in the north of this gigantic round table. He rose and spoke to me, giving me information about what I was to accomplish during this earth walk. He told me things about my personal records in times past and why I was to release the records that held the understandings of the red race. I looked around the table and smiled at each being, seeing past the outward appearance, until I understood the inner beauty of this variety of races. The sacred path of universal wisdom also has to do with our ability to accept the unusual or bizarre with grace and understanding. I was stunned to see a few faces that were part of Earth's history. It was an astounding vision, and I was endowed during that time with a profound understanding of what it is to be a universal being rather than a limited identity. I found that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that all races of our universe are ready to assist us. I committed to the wisdom I had been given to my memory, and bid the Spirit Council goodbye as I was engulfed in the whirling smoke of silver energy that returned me to my body. The revelation of the teaching of the North Shield is that North is the top of our medicine wheel, and beyond that is the South, or beginning of a new medicine wheel. That is the place of the ancestors. That is the place of the ancestors. Beyond the north of that wheel is the south, or beginning of the universal medicine wheel. Like giant links to the chain that connects all of Great Mystery's creatures, we transcend the links one at a time and travel each wheel, constantly evolving in unified oneness. Remember that there is no limitations when you reach a place of wisdom, when you reach the place of wisdom. The secrets are no longer meant to be kept from those with ears to hear and with eyes to see. The application. Some type of wisdom is coming your way. If you have chosen the North Shield card, you're now being asked to show gratitude for these new understandings in order to continue the growth process. Wisdom is one way in which you can experience the natural order of the universe and how it applies to your life. Wisdom is an inner knowing that cannot be traded, sold, or stolen from you. Knowing is the truth that has been experienced in your life. The North Shield tells you that you have learned a lesson. You have learned a lesson and derived from it a sense of self that will serve you for the rest of your life. The successful completion of this lesson should be marked by prayers of thanksgiving or acknowledged in gratitude. In so doing, you will have completed the circle of the sacred hoop and honored the source of that truth. Remember that the gift of wisdom is in the heart of the recipient and remains alive as long as it is honored as a blessing. The North Shield, we're at 12:49, so 12:50 we start the Hawk Messenger story. So that's what came up with the North Shield today. But remember, they don't always have to go together. If you've got Hawk from another day, you can skip to it from there. Hawk, messenger of the sky, circle my dreams and teach me. And teach me the message as we fly. Can you see that okay? It's got a little bit of a glare there, but let's see. Maybe we'll move this North Shield out of the way now. So we're done with that one, and we'll settle Hawk up here. There we go. Okay, I have to do it. Let's listen now to the messages. Okay, listen. Sorry, I had to. You know. You must be getting to know me by now. Pretty weirdo. Okay, so we did the little poem. Messenger. Hawk is akin to Mercury, the messenger of the gods. Hawk medicine teaches you to be observant. Because what's that message coming in today, right? The wisdom lesson today. Akin to Mercury, the messenger of the gods, Hawk medicine teaches you to be observant, to look at your surroundings. Observe the obvious in everything that you do. Life is sending you signals. Life is the initiation. If you have pulled the Hawk card, then right now, a clue about the magic of life is being brought to you. This magic can imbue you with the power to overcome a currently stressful or difficult situation. The test is your ability to observe the nuances of power lurking nearby. Is power the talent you have and are not using? Are solutions always hard to find because you have lost the broader vision of Hawk? Or is the Great Spirit displaying a gift that you need only to receive? Have the colors of the morning inspired you to create? Or has the gloominess of a present situation left you earthbound, unable to hear the voice within, the raindrops splashing on your window? Pay attention. You are only as powerful as your capacity to perceive, receive, and use your abilities. What is called for here is an intuitive ability to discern the message carried within the cry of hawk. The shrillness of hawk's call pierces the state of awareness, of unawareness, and asks you to seek the truth. The ancients recognized this magnificent bird of prey as a messenger bringing tidings to their earthwalk, the good red road, from the world of the grandfathers and grandmothers who lived before them. If hawk were to magically cry, it was a sign to beware or be aware. This could mark the coming of a warring tribe, the birth of a child, the celebration of counting coup. Hawk's cry signaled the need for the beholder to heighten awareness and receive a message. Hawk medicine is the totem that is filled with responsibility, because hawk people see the overall view. Hawk is not like mouse, who sees everything through a magnifying glass. Hawk medicine people are aware of omens, messages from the spirit, and the color of the calling card you gave them 3 months ago. No detail slips them unnoticed. If hawk is circled and landed in your card spread, you are to be aware of the signals of your life. So notice and receive them. Hawk may be teaching you to grab an opportunity which is coming your way. On the other hand, hawk may be bringing you the message that you should circle over your life and examine it from a higher perspective. From this vantage point, you may be able to discern the hazards which bar you from the freedom of flight. Remember, hawk has a keen eye and a bold heart, for hawk flies close to the light of grandfather's sun. In the contrary, if you have drawn hawk reversed, it may be because you have shut down your powers of observation on some level. If something in your life has become too painful to feel, too unbelievable to hear, or too dark to see, it is time to examine the point at which you chose to let yourself become emotionally involved and to no longer be the observer. When you allow your emotions to override your perceptions, the message from hawk cannot penetrate the chaos and confusion. At this point, you are asked to be mindful of the honest observer's neutral position, which allows the message to be intuitively and clearly understood without emotion coloring its true meaning. Emotional coloring is a tendency of hawk medicine people when they are off balance. Their emotions cloud. Their emotions cloud their vision and lead to a crash landing. The eagle can clip the wings and leave hawk grounded. Also, if hawk believes that those who cannot fly the same way he or she does have weaker perceptions, then the winged messenger has not understood his or her own medicine. Freedom of flight is a privilege, and being a messenger is an honor. The responsibility for delivery of the message is up to you. Take your flight and forget about interpreting the omen your own way. Let the receiver decide what the message means. After all, unless it was sent specifically for you, you would be tampering. Hawk in the contrary position teaches you, 1, to open up to the powers of observation. 2, not to tell others how to think or behave. And 3, to take care of your own emotional baggage before you begin receiving omens, visions, or messages. And 4, to remember that all gifts are equal in the eyes of Great Spirit. Much love, big heart hugs. Peace. Listen to your messages. Okay, detach. We need to be non-emotional, especially if we're delivering to others, right? So it mixes up with our own feelings, right? Okay, well, let me try to explain that. No, it's about what you receive from that, okay? Not me telling you how to think about it or whatever. The questions were asked, think of them on your own. Your answers are within you, your messages. You're there to decipher your own messages, whether they come directly to you or through somebody else, okay? And learn to know those messages when they're coming, but somebody that's attached emotionally, maybe follow the gut. Here I am. I'm explaining too much. Much love. Have a great day.